All right, so this is our truck camper setup. It's a the truck is a 2019 Ford F350. It's a King Ranch crew cab long bed. So it's 8-foot bed, and we looked for those specifically so we could get a little bit more floor space in the campers that we were looking at. We ended up with a 1999 Lance 1030 that's been completely renovated. We bought it from Jensen Adventures, which is a couple down in Phoenix area, Gilbert, I think, in Arizona, and we went down there and bought it from them. But they're a couple of YouTubers, and they had already renovated it, so it's got everything we need. I'll go through the whole thing, but the truck is a 6.2 liter. I didn't buy the diesel specifically because I didn't want diesel problems, and the 6.2 liter with the 6R140 is just really proven. It's been around for a really long time. I think they've got 13 years in them now, and there's a lot of really high mileage 6.2s out there with that transmission, and no issues, just regular maintenance, and that's what I wanted. So that's what we got, and it also saves us, or it increases the payload because it decreases the weight of the truck. So the payload on the truck is printed on the sticker. It's 4,028 pounds, and the camper, its printed sticker is 3,028 pounds. So it's right at 1,000 pounds difference between the two. But when it's all loaded up and everything, we're right at our gross vehicle weight rating, which is, I believe it's 11.5. And if we're loaded up for like a 2-week trip with water, kids, car seats, all of, 2 weeks worth of food or something like that, like tons and tons of stuff. We took it across the scales on our last trip, and fully loaded, like right after we left with a full tank of gas and water, propane, everything, it was 12,060 pounds. So, or 12,080 pounds, I'm sorry. So pretty close, just over gross vehicle weight rating on that trip, just starting out. But that we didn't know, I didn't know exactly where we were weight wise. And the truck's also on 37s, which they're 94 pounds each plus the wheels, so that's 122 pounds per corner just in rims and tires. So they're not light, but anyway, it's a big truck and it does fine all in this. We get about loaded, we average about 11 miles to the gallon. Pretty much no matter how I drive it or how fast I drive it, it's we just drive it on the highway, and it does really well. Unloaded, the truck gets around 14 with 37s, like 13 or 14 miles a gallon with the 37s. Before the 37s, when it had the stock 34s and the 20-inch wheels, which are over in the corner, it was getting like 16 miles a gallon. But we also live at high elevation. The house is at 9,200 feet, and the truck doesn't spend much time below 7,400 feet, which is mostly like San Luis Valley, and then like south central Colorado and up to basically everything US 50 and south of US 50 across Colorado is where we kind of stay, and because of that, the truck encounters less rolling resistance while we're driving because of the air density, and then it's also not producing as much power, so therefore it's not using as much fuel. So we end up averaging a little higher miles per gallon up here than we do down in like Texas at sea level. Down there the truck gets like 2 or 3 miles to a gallon less than it does up here. Same with the Montero, same with our Chevy Silverado over there. So when we moved up here, everything all of a sudden got 2, 3, 4 miles to a gallon better than it did in Texas. But anyhow, get back to the camper. So this is a 99. I'll try to keep this thing in focus. I just got it into my shop. The shop just got finished. Well, I guess it's been finished for a little while now, but between 2 kids and all that, and everything that it takes to live up here, I don't have a whole lot of free time. So anyway, here's the camper. It's a 99 Lance 1030. Like I said, sticker weight 3,028 pounds, and it's got everything we need. So I'll just go through it all. This is the back of the fridge, but the fridge is a 12-volt solar DC unit from Unique Appliances now in Canada. So I've been working on blocking this off. I have a insulated backing plate back there. It's like a inch thick. I'm gonna take that out and probably just spray foam it and then clean it up in there, because the original propane fridge doesn't, we don't need the ventilation for that anymore. Under here we've got 2 propane tanks. They're 7-gallon, so when they're filled up we get about a little over 6 gallons per tank, so around 12. exterior LED lighting. My shop's only 25 feet wide, so I can't really get too far back on this. I can go back here and show you like a side profile. But yeah, on the truck, with airbags in the back, that's a 12-foot door, 12 by 12, and the truck fits through fine. I measured it, and it's a 10-foot 6 and then 8 inches, so 11 foot 2 inches to the top of the camper, up to the top of the AC unit. All right. Oh yeah, and the truck is it's a 19 FX4, so it has 373 gears, and the factory rear locker. So that's kind of nice. This back here is just storage, and then our automatic jacks on all 4 corners. I'll take y'all around the other side before we go in. Down here is just drainage stuff, plumbing, external shower, exhaust for the heater. This is exhaust for or ventilation for the water heater. It's an electric water heater, so I've also blocked that off. I'm going to replace this completely with something that has no air. Because we live so high up, we spend a lot of time camping in cold temperatures. This is the 30 amp cord. And then we've got out here 100 amp hour 12 volt lithium. It's a Renogy Smart Lithium iron phosphate battery. And then we have another one inside. And then I've just got it's one of those little no-code Genius chargers. And this one has a lithium setting on it. So this is what I use to trickle charge the camper. So I just leave it in here because I don't have a 30 amp in the shop yet. I haven't gotten the wiring in yet. But up on the roof, we've got 400 watts of solar. So the solar, normally if the camper's parked out in the driveway, it'll keep these charged up 100% all the time. But obviously since it's inside the shop, we don't get any solar. And this is our water fill tank. I sourced all of this stuff. It's all fast gun from Torque Lift. Same with the tie downs down on the bottom. It's all Torque Lift. And this is just dirt. We live on red dirt roads. So let's see. I'll show you in the truck real quick, I guess. It's a King Ranch. I really like the interior, so that's why we bought it. And it, big enough for the kids, big enough for, to haul this thing around. We bought the truck before we bought the camper. A lot of people go the other direction, but I just want, I wanted to find a specific truck, and finding a gas with an 8-foot bed in an F350 that wasn't a dually was a kind of a chore. There's not so many of these trucks spec'd out like this. Most people want the diesels with the 350 and the long bed. The camper, it is, like I said, 99, but they completely renovated it, so everything has been redone. It's everything except the furnace has been converted to electric. So the propane, that 12 gallons of propane that we have on board, it is only for the furnace, so it lasts a really long time. And this is a winter package Lance 1030, so it has the little, you can tell by the little cover over the window, but it's got extra, I guess that's extra insulation, and it's just made for cold climates, which is exactly what we wanted. The original owners had it garaged in Oregon for years, and they, from what Chad Jensen told me, it didn't get used very much. He said it's probably been used about 10 or 12 times in its whole life, and it's a 25-year-old camper, well, 24-year-old. Let me see here. There's lots of storage space. You can see there's no cooktop and no stove or no oven. They took those out, and behind here is a Renogy 3000 watt inverter, Pure-Sine inverter, and then there's another battery underneath of the sink right there. But what we do have is under this drawer down here, we've got a induction cooktop, and we just pull that out, plug it in underneath the hood here, and then we've got our oven basically. But when we're not using our oven, we have a lot of extra prep space or storage or whatever. It tends to be just somewhere where you stick like a kid's, you know, one of the kids' backpacks or whatever there. This is all left the same just because it's our, you know, our monitor. So everything's empty because it's basically in storage. Microwave, lots of storage up top. And we've bought some, you know, little doohickey kind of things to kind of make organization a little bit better and keep things from sliding around or bouncing around too much. There. It's also got a new head unit, and I think the speakers are original, but it sounds really good. And there's no TV in here because they put together a projector, and then that's all the little cords, but it hangs in the ceiling right there. And I'll include like a little picture of I took my son and I went down to the lake near the house, and we were camping down there a couple weeks ago, and had the projector screen set up, and we were laying in bed watching the screen. The screen hangs between here and like up here. Like, oh, and also lots of storage around here. And their closet here. If you hear like a clicking noise, it's our hangers in the closet. They just kind of slowly clack into the walls as I'm walking around in here. So we just, here, I'll just show you what they are. Just our hangers. And like I said, we've bought like some storage stuff to kind of make it a little easier to keep things organized in here with the kids and stuff. Back here, furnace, electric water heater. It's a Complex mini tank. All of these down here on the bottom, this one, and then there's another one on the right side. Those are just access panels that go into the sides of the beds in front and behind the wheel well arches. Like I said, unique 12 volt DC fridge. Runs off of just the DC power. When I crank this thing all the way up, it's at 0 right now because it's in storage, but usually I keep it at like 2.5 or 3, and I think it draws like 21 watts is the max draw on it. So I just leave it on. It just runs on the solar. We've got some random drinks in there. Yeah, so then let's see here. We've got more storage up here. This is why I really love the 1030's layout. It's really nice. Just tons and tons of storage, a lot of cabinet space. This is our thermostat, and then, you know, on off, and our temperature control. And it just blows out right there, down here at the bottom. And then it's also got plumbing that goes from the back of the furnace, and it goes down through the plumbing. It goes behind the sink in the bathroom, and then down into the plumbing for the the drainage and stuff for the black and gray tanks. Then it has another hose that goes from the back of the furnace and tracks up to the back of here and comes out right here to keep us warm. So it keeps everything warm. I'm going to buy some window coverings. It does have pull down blinds. All of these are really nice pull down blinds. So those work really well. But for winter camping and stuff, I want to get I'm going to make some cutouts like those. I think it's Mylar. It's like double bubble Mylar. I have a sheet of it, but I need to order some more. But, you know, trace them out, cut these out, and just put them in primarily just around the bed, really. We'll probably do all the windows, but the big ones are just around the bed, and especially the one where your head is at and where we're sleeping. It does get a little cold through that window. So yeah, but like I said, I'm 6'3", and I've got plenty of room in here. I don't hit my head at all. I've got 4 inches of clearance on top of my head. AC's up here. It's the original. I'm gonna probably replace it with one of the new Dometic 12 volt solar type setups. They're super low draw and really, really efficient. They're like, I think they're about $1,800, so probably upgrade to that next spring maybe. Let's see, make sure I'm not missing anything. Pass through into the truck is down here, just through the windows. You've got down here, I've got a bunch of tools. So all my tool roll, they're not in there right now. Well, some of it is, but I've got a tool roll that I throw in there, but I think it's in the back of the truck. And I already showed that storage. Lots of lighting. All these are new. They replaced all of them, and they're these cool little touch types, so you can kind of just run your finger along them, and they'll dim and brighten, and then you can just tap them to turn off. And if whatever setting that you set them on, it'll go back to that. So they're pretty sharp, and they're LED, so they're low draw. So like I said, it's got a ton of space. I'm 6'3", and I've got a good bit above my head. This folds down into a bunk bed, comes down for our son, and then this turns into a bed also. And then we've got this over here, and this is a queen bed. All the countertops been replaced. Jensen Adventures, they did a really good job. It's all stained and sealed and painted. It's really sharp. All butcher block. And then I can push that all the way out of the way like that. More storage up here, when we're not using it. This is the memory foam bed. I need to cut it in half and split it between here and basically two pieces that'll stack when we're in transit and storing stuff. And then when we're camping, I can pull this down, take that top piece off, and lay it across the whole thing. So my son has a nice bed up here. Light controls right there. The bathroom is a full bathroom, and it's a dry bath, so it's a separate toilet from the shower curtain. The shower curtain goes around like right there. Just a standard. It's the original. Everything's original except the faucet. So yeah, and it's got a fan in there as well. And then let's see. That's pretty much it in here, really. It's a super sharp camper. We really like it. Tons of storage, tons of space, lots of floor space, lots of counter space, which is rare in these campers, in these truck bed campers. You give up counter space quick for anything that's shorter. I think this is an 11-foot, 10-inch camper in total. Yeah, I'm sorry. 10 foot 11 inches. So it hangs off the bed by almost 3 feet, but it's fine. On the 37s, we've got plenty of ground clearance, and departure angle isn't something I'm super concerned about. Not while we have the camper on here. And then I'll show you up on the roof. We've got, like I said, we've got 400 watts of solar. There's 3 in the back and 1 up front. Little room for extra, but really 400 watts is plenty to keep 200 amp hours of battery charged up. As we grow and as we use it a little bit more, we'll see how much battery consumption we're using. But right now, I mean, we use the microwave, we use the induction oven. We charge all of our phones, we charge cameras, we charge everything we need, laptops or whatever. I don't know what else is in there. The fridge is always on, so we haven't even scratched the surface on how, that 200 amp hours of storage. So far we haven't had a need. We've had the camper for almost a year. Maintenance for the camper so far has been, I had to replace the fan, the blower motor inside the furnace. So I had to pull the furnace out and replace that. It wasn't that big of a job, but the blower motor was just making a ton of noise as it was cycling between cold and hot, just as it warmed up as we're using it. So I did replace that, and then the fan on that Renogy inverter, there's a tiny like 90 millimeter by 90 millimeter fan that goes on the bottom of it to cool it, and it's an automatic little fan. It doesn't work, so the Renogy inverter is starting to overheat and throwing a code. So I just ordered a couple of fans for that, just to have, you know, one to replace it and then a couple just throw in the drawer just in case it goes out again. So that's not a big deal. And then there's also a 30 amp fuse that's up on the top. There's a specific type, and I'll make another video about it, but there's a specific type of crimped fuse holder that has a better contact, so it produces less heat. A lot of these ones that are shipped out with the Renogy kits, they are, let's see, I've got one right here actually. This is the brand that they ship out with Renogy kits. This is what's on the roof right now, and the one that's up there is melted because this design is bad. And any brand that looks exactly like this, that's just kind of has the fuse in there that slips in. The only contact is around the outer edge of one side of the fuse, and it doesn't produce enough contact for a good, good conductivity, and therefore it creates a lot of excessive heat. So there's another brand, can't think of it off the top of my head. I already ordered one. They're like 35 bucks. Strobli or Staubli, I think it's Staubli, S-T-A-U-B-L-I, Staubli. They make their own proprietary fuse holder, but it has MC4 solar connections, so it'll plug right into the system, but it's a better, more well-engineered fuse holder solution, I guess. So I'm going to install that. That should be here in like a week or two. It doesn't come from like Amazon or anything. You have to order them like from specific like these solar supply companies or Staubli themselves. So I'll put that in, and then that'll resolve our fuse holder heat issue. And other than that, everything else is good. I did replace the hoses for the propane. I put new ones in. And then on the truck, it has, like the truck's a 2019. We have 103,000 miles on it now, and it's fine. It has no issues. It's a really solid truck. Kids diapers, spare diapers, everything. Kids stuff everywhere. But we have a 3-year-old and we have a 8-month-old little girl we just had. So they ride in here, they like it. It's really comfortable. Heated seats, cooled seats, all the options, because it's a King Ranch, so it's got everything that you might want. You don't have to have anything like that. You save weight. The less options you get in the truck, the less weight the truck has originally, and therefore the higher the payload capacity is typically. So we could have gotten something that had less options and more payload capacity, but that's why we went with the F350. We wanted those creature comforts in the truck, just for long trips, and also resale value. You buy like bottom end truck, it tends to not hold its value as well. So the truck does have a broken windshield. I got a couple of cracks because we live in Colorado, and that's just life in Colorado is broken windshields. So I'm actually going tomorrow to go get a new windshield installed at Safe Light in Pueblo. And the camper's still dirty, so truck and camper are dirty, but we live 7 miles up a dirt road from the highway, so I don't even care. Keep them as clean as I can. Tires and wheels, I'll tell you about them. Tires are the Toyo Mud Terrains, 37 by 13.5 on a 17-inch wheel. Wheels are Method 304s. They're just the machined look. They're really dirty right now, but they're just machined. All right, modifications to the truck are, it's got a BDS 2.5-inch leveling kit in the front. It's got a BDS dual steering stabilizer up front. It has, I believe there's 6,000 pound bags in the back, and then there's an air compressor underneath the passenger, on the passenger frame rail right there, with a couple of settings: lower it'll lower it, it'll raise it, or I can just leave it in the middle and it'll level it wherever we are, including driving. So I tend to just kind of get it to where it's level front and rear, just for handling and safety and stuff. And then I just kind of turn the compressor off when we drive without the compressor on. And then whenever we get somewhere, I'll raise it or lower it if we need to a little bit to level it out on the inside.